All right, so this video is going to talk about the preliminary stages of starting an assignment that I like to call form wedge. So this is the mid process, I suppose, of the assignment. The idea is to fill this composition up, or this page up, with a composition of wedged forms, simple forms such as cones, cylinders, spheres, cuboids, hexagonal prisms, and I believe pyramids is another one. So those are, I believe, 6 different forms. Before you start drawing this on a fresh sheet of paper, this is a 14 by 17 inch Bristol board paper, you're going to want to do some sketches. I always like to use printing paper for sketches. It's flat, it's easy. Reason it's not in a sketchbook, so you don't have to worry about the ridges preventing your hand from moving. You can just kind of use it on a surface. Okay, so to wedge a few things together, you just want to make a few sketches. In order to wedge something, you have to overlap 2 forms. So when you overlap 2 forms, for example, you might want to start off with a rectangle. And you can just freehand the sketch, right? So this is your rectangle. Let's just perfect it a little bit. This is your rectangle as if it's transparent. Okay, everything's in parallel line drawing. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to overlap a cone, just like you see here. Again, this is a really quick sketch. Now, so this is your cone. On top, not on top, but in front of currently a cuboid. I'm going to wedge this in there. How do I wedge this in? What I'm going to do is I'm trying to make an ellipse. So if this is the top of the cone right here, I'm just going to try to clarify this a little bit more. Okay, this is the top of the cone right here. I'm going to try to put an ellipse right where that line, the corner of the cube, intersects that cone. And I'm putting an ellipse right here. And you can see right here is where it intersects. That's a really important part, where it intersects, the ellipse intersects that diagonal line. And I strategically placed that ellipse there because part of the ellipse could appear that it's resting on top of this flat plane. Once I interconnect that, what you want to do, I'm going to use a ruler now just to show you what I'm going to do. Put the ruler right on that point, and then put the ruler at the point of the cone. And after that, you draw a line down here. And then you can clarify the line from the cube, and then you can clarify the line from the cone and then bring the cone back up, etc. And then this comes down, this goes over. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to erase this line. And you can see that it looks like it's wedged on to the side of a cuboid. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a few sketches of overlapping forms. So right now I'm just going to put a sphere right here. And right along here, I'm going to overlap. So here's my sphere, right? And again, this is just sketched by hand. I'm going to put an ellipse right here. And how wide is this ellipse? This is how you're going to guesstimate how wide this ellipse is going to be. The height of this ellipse is in proportion to the width of the ellipse, and it's also in proportion to how much of this plane is showing up top, which is in relation to your viewpoint down. So our eye level, because we can see the top of this box, our eye level is above it because we're looking down upon it. If we were looking severely down upon it and these angles were more severe like this, if that makes sense, we're looking more down upon it, then this ellipse would be wider, even taller. So you're kind of, in this sketch, you're just guesstimating how big this ellipse is. So after I create this ellipse, and the ellipse is going to be horizontal, meaning the center of the ellipse, the major axis line right here, and the vertical line right here is going to, this will be horizontal and this will be vertical because it sits on a flat surface. This plane here might appear that it's sliding downhill, but it's not. If you were to walk on it, it would be a level flat surface. Therefore, this ellipse is a level ellipse. So what I'm going to do now is just outline this part of the ellipse here, outline this a little darker, and then again I'm going to erase the bottom of the ellipse, and then I'm just going to outline the exterior a little bit more darker, and then as it goes down here. And what I can do is just lightly erase the, what do you call it? The back of the ellipse. And I'll just kind of wrap this right back into the ellipse. There. So now it looks like this sphere is kind of wedged on top of that form. What can I do next? There's plenty of things I can do next. What if I were to draw a pyramid with the back of the pyramid here? Let me just sketch this out real fast. And it went like here. That could be interesting. I'm just going to raise it up about right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the base of the pyramid here. And I need to draw the point of the pyramid because the pyramid is going in this direction. So everything is based off of this original rectangle that I made. So this original rectangle, or I'm sorry, cuboid, I start off with my angles going this direction and this direction, and then my vertical stays the same. These are going to do the same thing. So this goes here, with the exception that the point is going to be out in this direction. But how do you find the center of the point? Do I just throw a point there and connect these lines to it? No, you don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to cross your corners here, which finds your center. You take the center line, and this is where I'm going to use my ruler, just to kind of show you. And I'm putting my ruler parallel to these lines, and then you just throw a line straight out. Anywhere along this line, you can add your point. I'm just going to put my point right here, just for fun. I'm going to overlap it on this and on that. I don't know if it's going to touch this. We'll see. Probably won't, but I'm going to connect it anyway at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect these points. And you might wonder why I'm using a ruler now. I just don't want to confuse you anymore as the viewer, but you can kind of see that this pyramid is going in the same direction as this guy here. So the center of that, if you were to draw a line, goes in the same direction as these lines. Now, how does this intersect or wedge into this cube? Here's an opportunity. So do you see where this line overlaps this plane? So this plane here and this line right here, they overlap each other. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to draw this using different colors. If I use red and blue. So here's this line, and then here's the plane. I just did it really lightly, just so you can kind of see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a dot right in the middle of that line. It doesn't have to be dead center, but middle-ish, right? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line from here to here, parallel to this line. And then next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this point to this point. The reason I connect this point, much like I did with the cone, because this becomes somewhat of a vanishing point. If you understand one point perspective, it almost acts the same way. But the reason why I'm connecting this to this is because this plane goes on an angle inward. And it's just going to make more sense to connect it there. I could be wrong. I believe that's right. So in order to understand if this works, you're going to have to erase this line and this line. Erase this line. Oops. And I'm just going to end it there. I think that's fine. And then you erase everything else that this cube, or I'm sorry, not the cube, the pyramid is in front of, which includes this. So again, I will outline this right here. And all this is a sketch. I'm just sketching this out for compositional ideas. So as of now, this goes to that point, but I am wondering, because that makes sense, because this is what it does here, and it's also what it should do there. But should it go here? And no, I think that's right. And the other area that I should probably figure out right now is how the point goes, it's going to go into the rectangle and then into this thing. But how does it go into this thing? And this is where I'm going to have to play around with. Might do it. Actually, this kind of works out. I'm guesstimating this. But basically, it's making sense to me now. See this ellipse here? The same curve of that ellipse, once this plane hits that, it's going to follow that same curve. Once it hits this line, this blue line, it's going to go down on an angle towards that point, but down in this direction. And I believe that's it. So now I can just erase the rest of it. And I can erase this. Then I can put my lines back in. And it feels like that this form is now wedged into this guy, and it's also wedged into this form. And that makes sense. At first, I didn't think it was going to happen, and now I feel it does. So 3 wedges. Compositionally, I need stuff down here. So do I put another rectangle in? Do I turn upside down and maybe work this way, but use the same diagonals? Do I turn it this way and start to work this way, use the same diagonals? Sure, that's not a bad idea. But once you should make about 3 sketches and figure out some decent compositions, you might want to have about 10 to 12 forms in at the very end once you get to this stage. because as you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forms, and I still have to activate down here. I might add another form back here. I don't have to make it too complex, but I think 10 is probably enough. I would probably sometimes it's safe to throw a rectangle in. Do I want to do the same thing here? If I look this way. Just trying to bring the eye back down. So eventually I might add something here, I might add something here, and I might add something here. And right now I'm just trying to bring the eye back down. So it just helps to throw a few forms in. Maybe I'll just put this like this. And then if this guy does come into here, maybe it meets it about right here. Then it goes down. Then I got this, oops. Seeing if this works. Yeah, kind of does, I believe. And again, I'm just sketching this out. This goes here. And then this form goes down here. Do I want to keep that? Do I want to go with it? I don't know. Maybe so. It feels there's a lot of movement in this direction. I kind of need something going in this direction now just to kind of balance out the movement, the visual movement. But for now, it's an easy, quick sketch. And then the next video, I'm going to start just throwing objects here using some of my sketches as a starting point and showing you how to what pencils to use and how to go about it using your rulers and your sliders. All right, until next time.